Hi everyone, this is John. I'm still in Oregon. I'm actually on the way to another spot, but along the way I found this patch of trees just along the highway, and I just thought it looked really cool. There's fog kind of coming in and out, and where I live there's not a lot of forest. Like, this is dense forest, and there's these trees covered with moss, and so I wanted to pull over and get a shot without just passing by. So when it comes to photographing trees, I really struggle because there's a lot of harsh contrast. I'm taking shots in between because there's fog rolling in. So with trees, to me, there's like a lot of harsh contrast when the sun's out. Like, it looks beautiful to the eye, but so what I try to do is create some isolation to where something in the front is stronger in contrast or some obvious definition. And it's actually easy because there's this fog rolling in right now, and it's really helping out. So here's one shot. What do you think? So before I go, I see two shots real quick. It's actually right next to the car. I saw him as I was walking back to the car. There's this moss being silhouetted from the sun, and it creates this like golden line against a darker backdrop. And the scene actually reminds me a lot of Return of the Jedi. I keep waiting for Ewoks to come out and capture me and take me to 𝗬𝗵𝗄𝗏, and hopefully he lets me live. So I switched to a 70 to 200 lens just to really isolate the moth. And here we go. On a timer. Oh, I switched to the ISO. In this situation, I've been bumping it up because there's branches moving, and I don't want them to be blurry, because every time a car goes by, there's wind, and it creates movement. So I'm trying to create like a frozen feel. So I put the ISO to 640 right now, which gives me a faster shutter speed. I'm shooting at f4 just to create that less blur. So here's one shot. What do you think? In the second shot, I was saying, I just tilt down, and there's these leaves that are just being spotlit from the sun through the trees. It's actually the same setting as the other shot, and bam. I made it to this vantage point that I think I saw in a 𝗦𝘂𝗽𝗽𝗀 video, and probably a million other photographers come here. I mean, it's a great spot. You're on these tree roots on the edge of a cliff. And I don't recommend standing out here carelessly. Make sure your bag is in a secure place, you're in a secure place. As I was walking up here, there's a girl climbing the tree that's overlooking the cliff, and I'm just thinking, that's crazy. And she said it was all for the sake of thrill seeking, so to each is their own. So as I said, I saw this in a 𝗦𝘂𝗽𝗽𝗀 video, so I'm not trying to replicate what he did, but when you get here, it's like this iconic spot, or easily an iconic spot, and so it's like tempting to just get the photo that like everybody gets. And of course I did that. I'll show you in a minute. But while I'm here, you know, I can take it from the perspective I have, or see something that I see. I mean, there's this rock surrounded by water with a cave down in between. It's really cool. I highly recommend coming here. Take your time. The hike's a little sketchy at parts. Bring good shoes. So for the first shot, I just got the rock with the trees and surrounded with the water, like the main, seeing everything with a wide angle lens. Pretty simple. I'm not moving around a whole bunch up here. I have my 24-70. There's this rock. The way the rock curves, it's creating this like wraparound sharp into the water. I guess with a cave. So I want to like accentuate that a little bit. So I'll try this carefully without dropping anything over the cliff. I don't know what I'd be more upset about, myself falling over or the lens. So often when I photograph water, or like with oceans, I use a ND filter to like smooth out the water. Because if it's high action, like surfing or just giant wave, I don't want to smooth out the water. That's not what I want. So I just use a fast shutter speed. But I don't want to smooth out the water here. I want to keep it sort of elegant looking, but not overdoing it with an ND filter. So what I try to do is replicate sort of like a video frame, where if you're shooting 24 frames a second, you put your shutter speed to 50. You know, you times it or multiply it by 2, whatever your frame rate is, you multiply it by 2, and that's your shutter speed. So I'm going to try to get to like a 50 shutter speed, because it creates sort of like a natural blur that happens with the 24 frames a second, but it's not blurry, it's softer, and I feel like it looks a little more natural. So to do that, I put my shutter speed to 50, and then bump up my aperture, which can be tricky because I didn't bring an ND filter for this lens, of course. So it's just timing. So I'm at 2 seconds. Let's hope for that. So that shot looked a little snapshotty to me, little too, because actually the timing's not the best to be here right now, but it's the time I'm here. It's almost noon, so it's pretty harsh light. I'll put an ND filter. I didn't bring an adapter to fit my ND filters to this lens. So what I'm gonna do is just hold it in front, and I put the f-stop to 9, and I'm just timing it with the water.
Is there another?
Okay, let's go. Come on.
Don't you want to look at the Grand Canyon?
Great.
Don't you believe me when I tell you you're the queen of my heart? Just don't deceive me when I hurt you, just in the way it seems. Can you feel my love buzz? Can you feel my love buzz? Can you feel my love buzz? Can you feel my love buzz?
I wanted to end this video with some night photography at a certain dock I was trying to get to, where it's for crabbing. But by the time I got here, it was pretty late, and it was actually closed and off limits to the public, so I couldn't do it. So I went to sleep, and so I came out here first thing in the morning, and intending to. There's some train tracks that go into the water, but that area is off limits. But while I was walking around on the dock, it's kind of cool. There's people crabbing, digging for clams. So I just took the time to walk around and just enjoy the sunrise. It's actually a pretty crowded area. I was one of the first 5 cars here. And then within 20 minutes, the parking lot was full with probably like 50 cars. So, popular spot. I'm still in Oregon, and I've got a couple more places I'm going to check out. The next one I'm going to Washington, so I'll be in Washington for a little bit. It's a little bit personal there. As always, if you have any comments or questions, leave them down below. Feel free to subscribe. I'll see you in Washington. Bye.